G'day guys, Chef Josh here from Kilcoy Global Foods, and today we're here at Market Bistro on the Sunshine Coast, joined by the legend that is Tony Kelly to tell us a little bit about his restaurants. Tony, thank you for your time.
Made me blush with an intro like that, mate.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Mate, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Mate, yeah, much similar to you, a chef by trade. So busted out, nearly 30 years in the kitchens. Started my career at Hyatt Coolum, 5-star hotel on the sunny coast when it was proper. Cut my teeth there, travelled overseas, worked for Disney for a couple of years, then came back, spent a bit of time up in the islands with Peter Curavita on Hayman, and funny enough, then got into my own business, and the rest is sort of history. I had a restaurant in Maroochydore called the Wine Bar for about 10 years. Then the GFC sort of taught me about business in an extremely volatile way.
Yeah.
So I went arse up, then ran to Brisbane with my tail between my legs, and I was very fortunate through mutual friends. I got an introduction to Frank Van Handel, and it was perfect timing because he'd just secured the site, which was Stokehouse in Brizzy. So spent some time down there, a couple of years, which was fantastic. Sort of reset ourselves, and I always knew that I wanted to come back to the coast. I wanted to raise my kids here, and funny enough, rekindled my relationship with PK, Peter Curavita. He'd just opened Noosa Beach House. So that was the major draw card to bring me back to the coast, and then the rest is history. We started Rice Boy in 2017, and slowly but surely straight after that it was Spiro, then the 2 restaurants in Maroochydore, Piggyback, and now the 2 restaurants over at Boc Arena in the wine store. So we operate 7 venues, 7 restaurants, 2 bottle shops, depending on the time of year, 480 to 550 staff. It's a big operation, and we're really fortunate because we've got some amazing people who work for us. We've got great leaders, and we're very lucky to be able to showcase your product in a place like Market Bistro.
Yeah, we're very, very fortunate that you're doing just that, mate. I just want to touch on, you spoke about Stokehouse. I mean, I remember Stokehouse just as I was sort of coming up through the ranks in Brisbane many years ago. Stokehouse became well known in Brisbane as sort of the place. Tell us about some of your early memories from Stokehouse and some of the challenges that really taught you how to become a great leader. Yeah,
really good question, actually. So my biggest achievement, everybody goes, oh, Stokehouse was a 2-hat restaurant. Yeah, we did do it. We did get 2 hats. We did get it in the first year. But Stokehouse made a lot of money. And if there's anything that I can attest to, and I'm sure that you can as well, and that is that there's so many great restaurants go broke. So many unbelievably beautiful restaurants still go arse up. But in my tenure at Stokehouse, we were unbelievably busy doing sort of 300 covers for lunch and the same for dinner. And it wouldn't be uncommon for us to have a 70 packs event going on upstairs while we're doing that. And to do that, make money and achieve 2 hats is extremely unusual because, as you'll be very aware, most 2-hat restaurants involves a pair of tweezers and maybe 30 or 40 covers a night. So we had probably at its peak 40 in the kitchen, and that was not dissimilar as what we experienced coming out of COVID, where labour was horrendously bad. We had kitchen hands shucking oysters for us to order. We just doubled down on training. And from that perspective, it taught me a very valuable lesson that every kitchen needs to be an incubator for future leaders, or else you're toasted. We've got to highlight who potentially could be a leader in that kitchen and train, or else we'll never see any growth. And Stokehouse and lack of labour back in those days, that's what taught me that. But also accountability, basically let you run your operation, but with the freedom to run it as you want comes a set of consequences if you fail. That's what really motivated me to succeed, because Frank's gave me all the trust. I've just got to make sure that if I walk the walk, got to talk the talk. So that's probably the biggest thing I took away from it. We carried that right through here, like all of our leaders. I can highlight the future leaders in this restaurant too for you right now, if you like. And a lot of those people have come on board with us as now owners of the restaurant. I've got Mitch and Eliza, they're co-owners of Rice Boy, Giddy Geisha and Piggyback, Harry and Luke and all the formal restaurants. We've got Isaac come on board as one of the partners at Player, our most recent restaurant. So we're not adverse to giving away equity in the business, and it's amazing what that little splash of hook does to motivate people.
It's incentive.
You're working for something other than your paycheck, and I've proven that that's extremely valuable. In some cases it can be hard to manage, but most of the time it's unbelievably positive.
I think as you touched on that incentive of, that little hook, dangling that carrot on a hook, brings the best out of people, right? It becomes something that's theirs. It's not just, as you said, a paycheck. Somebody else's business, somebody else can clean that mess, someone else it's mine. It gives them a sense of worth.
And it's pretty cool when they say, oh, our combi oven's buggered, I need another one, it's $22,000. I'm like, okay, there's my share, you got 10%. Maybe I don't need it this month.
Yeah,
you know,
correct.
it creates a different. Their actions are so noticeably different in many aspects. Noticeably, they just become tighter with money, but also they treat it differently. It's just an extra 5 minutes here, an extra 2 minutes there, and the thing that I love about it is when they bring their family and friends in, and it's my restaurant. You know, I love that.
Yeah.
People go, "Do you get annoyed about that?" I'm like, "No, I love that.
Yeah.
I really, really do. I want them to feel that sense of pride and ownership." And when we started our business in 2017, the group wasn't so much a group; it was just a restaurant. I said to then Mitch and Eliza, "I want to be famous for being the best employer on the Sunshine Coast."
Yeah.
And that's really challenging because everybody's got their own needs and wants, and 500 staff is a lot. I don't know everybody's name, but I try. But we just try and provide a great opportunity and a workplace where we can breed those future leaders.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with a bunch of hard work and some years under my belt, our staff will go down to Sydney or Melbourne, and somebody like yourself will read the CV and go, "I know that guy, and those restaurants will be good. This guy will be of great stock." That will be success for me.
A testament to you, Tony, and to the team as well, because I've worked with chefs on the coast over the last sort of 7 or 8 years that have come from your venues and have also left where I've worked to go to your venues.
Yeah.
You know, so that is a great testament to someone such as yourself and the rest of the team that you are highly sought after as an employer. But I think the industry, you probably agree, has evolved a lot over the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years. We touched on, you know, the importance of making money, not just receiving accolades and awards.
Yeah.
And I remember a long time ago when you were at Stokehouse, I was at a place called Era Bistro in Brisbane, also had 2 hats. But the difference was you didn't have as many, but 300 people coming in, right? How important is it as a restaurant owner and as a chef to evolve with the times and not just try and keep doing what worked for you 5, 10 years ago?
Probably takes up the lion's share of my day, and we refer to it as staying in front of the bell curve, because if you're not just that one step ahead, you'll literally fall by the wayside. And I think the success rate of restaurants in Australia in 2026 is 90% go broke in the first 12 months.
Yeah.
To be frank, mate, a lot of that is due to pure laziness. They go, "Oh, who's busy? Oh, Rice Boy's busy, so I'm a modern Australian restaurant. I'll put 15 bao buns on because Rice Boy's busy and they've got bao buns."
Yeah.
And they think that that's sort of like the golden ticket, where there's so many things, there's so many components that go into it. I look at RB, which was a fail for us in many respects, a success in many others. Financially, we kind of wiped our own ass, but I don't go to work just for a break even unless the risk and the effort and the reward matches that. We'll cut it loose, which we did with RBs. But sometimes there can be just this scrape of something that's going a bit awry, and it will send the entire thing left. So we try and encompass it all and stay in front of that bell curve, look at trends, but most importantly, mate, is listen to the customers that are coming in. Because if most chefs will cook for themselves, they watch a YouTube video or Instagram, and they want flowers and tweezers, and rather than concentrating on something that's just purely delicious.
Yep.
And our motto is we have to sell it for what we have to, not what we can.
Yeah.
And also, if we have the best suppliers, the only thing we have to do is teach restraint. That's really hard to do, right? But if you've got the best suppliers, you'll win, because we see it all the time. People come in here and go, "Where did you get that beef from?" And I know that through our relationship, it's been born over many years with Kilcoy. It's hard to get that quality of meat, but that just comes with trust and time and all the rest of it. Where a lot of people just get a supplier in and just bust their balls on price.
Yeah.
Where there's got to be a mutual win, but more importantly, the customer needs to get great value for money and a great product.
And I think customers are also happy to pay a little bit extra if they're getting far better quality.
People get value for money mixed up with cheap.
Correct.
Value for money is not cheap.
Correct.
But it's not expensive. It can be a raft of things. You can go and spend $1,000 on dinner and walk out going, "Oh my God, that was so good."
Yeah.
Or you can also go for dinner and spend $15 and go, "That was so shit, I'm never going back."
Yeah.
So there's just that happy medium, and to make sure that you've got really true identity of what you are, and so people learn to then trust you. Like the Kilcoy lunch that we do here every year with Samuel Smith, it's unbelievable. We don't even have to advertise it. I think there's already 20 people on a wait list. People just trust the product because it's great value. It's not cheap, but you're going to get some of the best steak you'll ever put in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you'll drink wine at a price that you'll never see again. And then Damien puts on some great specials in the bottle shop.
Yeah.
So the whole day represents great value. But that ticket price is not cheap.
No, but you're right. People misconstrue the concept of cost versus value.
Correct.
Right? Like I ate at a restaurant in Brisbane recently. It cost me $750 for a mate of mine and myself, just the two of us. And when I tell people how much it costs, they're like, "Wow, that's expensive." And I said, "Well,
For what?
I was expecting the bill to be $900
Yeah.
and would have been happy to have paid that because it was literally the best experience I've had in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm paying $45 for a palmy at the pub. that's expensive.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So,
and if it's overcooked, it's shit value for money.
correct.
So
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
No, it's a very good point. But you mentioned you just got such a diverse range of restaurants here on the coast these days. How do you choose with your team what venue to open next?
Well, we'll never open an event. Well, firstly, we're never hunting for a site. I've been involved in a business before that was all about trying to find a site and hunt for those opportunities, where if you're really quiet and just relaxed, the opportunity will usually come for you. You just got to keep your eyes open as well. But opportunity is first and foremost, but we will not even consider an opportunity unless we've got the people. So if we've got a future leader in there that's ready to go, that's tick number one. Tick number two will be, is there a site available that's got a great deal attached to it? That's number three. Then we'll go looking for what's on brand for us and the potential person we're going to jam in there. What's on point at the moment? Is there anything trending? Like, we open players for 3 years in the process because, like Asian food, I feel that Mexicans come full circle nearly into an everyday food, which for me is really important. Boca is exactly the same with pizza. And the takeaway element of the business is amazing. So we thought all these boxes got ticked for Mexican. It took a bit longer than what we expected to get the deal done, but now we've got a restaurant that's humming along real nice, and the takeaway offer's strong. So there's elements to it that we look at, but we find that most trends will either start primarily in the US, maybe sometimes in Europe. They'll merge at some point, and then slowly but surely they'll peter on to Australia. Usually picked up in Sydney or Melbourne first, and little rural Sunshine Coast will come on later. But if you're focused in on what the market's doing in the US in particular, you'll stay ahead of that bell curve. So you just got to keep your ear to the ground, constantly online looking at stuff that's happening over there, good, bad and ugly. And that gives me just a bit of a sense of what the public are wanting at the moment. And Australian people love travel, so they go over there and experience that, and they're like, oh my God. So listening to your punters, they'll tell you what they want. Like, we knew incrementally that the Sunshine Coast needs a great steakhouse. This is not a steakhouse, but there's no wondering why steak, I feel it, and sirloin have been our biggest selling dishes, two biggest selling dishes on this menu since the day we opened. Irrefutably, they are. So I have no doubt that if we were to open a good steakhouse on the Sunshine Coast, it would go bunter.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Market Bistro for me would have to be my favourite sort of all-round dining venue. I love a classic French bistro, mate. That's where I grew up doing my trade. It's a great spot if I want to bring my wife for a cheeky Friday lunch without the kids.
And it's not intimidating, is it? You can come in a pair of shorts.
It's fantastic.
Or it can be a big-time venue where you're celebrating an amazing event, whether it be a wedding or a birthday or something like that. Blow the lid off it. Or you can come in here and have steak frites and Burno sauce, and 25 minutes later you're out the door.
Correct. One-stop shop.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got a bunch of restaurants. This might be a very difficult question for you to answer, but do you have a favourite?
No, I don't.
Does that question make you feel like you're cheating on your wife answering that?
And I get asked it all the time. It really depends on what I feel like, to be honest. Piggyback gets a raw deal for me because it's my daughter's favourite, and I live in Palmwood, so it's our local. So every Thursday night religiously she gets the same thing, and it's like, oh my God, if I see another spring roll in my... But so that's... It's really nice to see my kids involved. My eldest son's a second-year apprentice at Market Bistro in the kitchen now.
Awesome.
I thought I was passionate about food. He takes it to another level, so
fantastic.
that's really cool to see. And I tried desperately hard for him not to get in the industry, but it's amazing when you see somebody doing what they love to do. It's very rare, and he does. So I get a bit of a buzz out of seeing him in there. So I'll probably dine at Market more than most, and my office is close. So I don't know. I don't know whether I can answer that. As far as our Asian restaurants go, out of Rice Boy, Giddy Geisha and Piggyback, I think Giddy Geisha does the best Asian food. And out of the more formal restaurants, out of Boca, Market, Spiro and Player, I'd probably say Market would nearly lead the race there, but geez, Spiro would be a close second, and Harry is going to kill me. But I'm telling you, they're probably my favourite. Like Spiro, it's like the sleeper of the group until you get a P&L at the end of the month and you go, holy shit, they were busy. And the food is always so delicious. They manage their costs so well. And since Nick Winters moved, he was a restaurant manager here. He does a couple of days a week over at Spiro. He's really elevated that wine list and the service, which is really cool. And sitting by the water there,
it's a great spot.
It's pretty cool. So I don't know whether I've answered you the question. I feel like a politician now.
Yeah. No, you get a lot of insight. I can attest to how busy Spiro was from my very short tenure there a very long time ago.
That's right.
The place was hectic at best. But I think, I don't know if I could answer that question as well, to be honest. I bring my son to Giddigisha because he loves skating across the road.
Yeah.
I love Spiro because it's my favourite place to dine on the coast. And like I said, a nice little kid-free Friday lunch with my wife,
so
Market
good.
Bistro's a spot, right? So personally, I think if your group have really nailed what the Sunshine Coast is looking for in a vast array of dining destinations. So I think that's a job well done.
And a bit of an inside word, the fried chicken sando, chicken ribs and a schooner of Kirin is an instant hangover cure. If you want
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
If you're ever in bad shape, that'll jumpstart your day.
Oh, noted. Thank you very much. Chef, we know that walking into a restaurant this day and age is a challenging job, probably a lot harder now potentially than when you and I were much younger. What is some advice that you would give to a young aspiring chef wanting to really grab their knife roll for the first time?
Is it more challenging?
I think in terms of staff, I think, I don't know about you, but places I grew up working, we had a larger team and people wanted to work. People were throwing resumes in every day.
Then you got horsewhipped and, look, I certainly agree with some of that. It's a hostile, hot, loud, noisy, it's an environment that's not conducive to somebody who's probably not an extrovert.
Yeah.
Now, as I said before, my son's second year now and he's loving it. My advice to him, if you don't love it, don't do it. But if you do love it, there's no greater. I am so comfortable in and around that environment. And if one of these kitchen guys said, we're in the shit, I need you to come in tonight, I'd be nearly like, okay. I'd have to find my knives, but I still love it. And I guess that the hard bit about it is there's been a few bad eggs in the industry that have probably spoiled it for some. We've tried really hard to focus in on what our training looks like here and making sure that we support our people. So my advice to young people is try and figure out what you want to do. Like my young bloke went through a phase where he really wanted to be a pastry chef. And I'm like, you just limit your opportunities so much if you just do pastry. So why don't you become a great chef and then specialise in pastry? Yeah. So it's really important, I guess, to, even if you're not sure, there's so many people like yourself who's really prevalent online. Don't be afraid to reach out, DM anyone. Like I've been nervous and reached out to people like Daniel Bordeaux and Thomas Keller and I've got responses from them. And when I've got them, I've shit myself. I'm like, oh my God. But these are people I've grown up to looking at thinking that they were God. They're just like me and you that have worked their way through the industry and they've become these juggernauts, but they're just guys that are happy to give back to the industry in any way they can. And if it's answering a text message, they'll do it. Yeah. So ask for some advice. If you're stuck and you're not quite sure about that next step, we had a young guy that I haven't seen in 25 years. He reached out, he had a bad head injury and he was like, I've got some mental health challenges at the moment. I've got a minor brain injury and I'm in my 40s, but I want to be a chef. And I gave him some great advice. And I'm like, why don't you start off as a kitchen hand and make sure you do like it. We'll come in, we'll give you some guidance and we'll support you. You know, because a good set of hands is very hard to come by, mate. I don't care about your brain injury. If you can do the job, we want you to work here. And then do some planning into where's close to home. Don't make it too hard for yourself. It's hard enough.
100%.
So, but the one thing that I will say is just ask questions. The only thing a first year can offer is passion, not knowledge. So my advice to my son was, if you want to experience something, you want to learn how to make great croissants, text message or DM the pastry lab down at Caloundra and say, can I come in on a Saturday morning, work for free? Like, because that's an amazing gift that they're going to give you to teach you how to make arguably the best croissants in the Sunshine Coast. Go down, they shouldn't be paying you for that. Just go down and spend a few hours with them. Or not. I always say, if you can feed that knowledge, that your knowledge is such a powerful thing. And that'll set you in good stead for your future career.
I think offering you time and stages, as you mentioned, is always a great idea because that then shows to potential future employers that you're willing to do the hard yards, you're willing to give up some of your time. You know, as we know, time is the only currency we spend without knowing the balance, right? Mate, that's how I got the job in London where I worked over there. Was I walked in and said, I want a job. I'll do today for you for nothing if I can start tomorrow. So that there, I'm not sure if the work ethic is there as much as it was.
I don't think so. I think because a lot of people are getting hung out to dry at the moment where people are staging but then complaining that they work there for free for 2 weeks. But what they failed to highlight is that there was no position there available. They gave you an opportunity to come in and learn.
Correct.
And what I've found, and you've probably seen the same, so many CVs where they'll work at Per Se or the French Laundry for 2 minutes and it's the first thing they write on their CV, but they don't know how to make pesto. If you're willing to and you want that name on the CV, then go in there and learn. Like go in there and give it some hard yards. Like I did a stage at Charlie Trotter's. I've never mentioned that. Man, it was hard. Holy shitballs. You want to talk about fury in the kitchen. That guy's next level. But that knowledge is so important to a young guy, but don't complain about it later. I get the whole working for free thing is sensitive, so don't do it. They're not out there going, oh, you come in and work for me for free. You're the one going, can I come in and experience it? And if you're great, who knows? You know, you land a job at the French Laundry, that'll make your career. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
and don't be pissed off if they don't tag you on Instagram.
No, I mean, what do you got to offer them?
Yeah, correct.
Get in there and have a go. That's what I say.
Fantastic.
We have people that will often reach out to us and say, "Do you mind if I come in and do a week, do a stage?" We have some TAFE teachers that want to sort of stay ahead of the bell curve there and stay at the pointy end, and fantastic. But as an employer now, we have to be really careful that doesn't come back and kick us in the arse.
The industry's changed a lot. Obviously, mate, when I was an apprentice, as you probably remember, you know, pans thrown at you fresh out of the oven. I remember one incident being held by the throat with a filling knife. Like that's, but you know, that doesn't happen today, sure. But I think the challenges today is certain places I worked, mate, there was an abundance of people wanting to work because it was a well-known, reputable joint, right? Whereas nowadays, just finding, as we touched on, people with passion.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. What I was taught when I was much younger was being a chef. It's not a career; it's a lifestyle. Yeah. If you're not willing to live and breathe it, go and do something else, right?
I couldn't agree more. And, you know, I certainly don't condone that, but we start that violence, something you can't put your hands on people. And what I say to the team here is we're in a position where we say it's a 40-hour work week. If you do 41 hours, you'll get paid 1 hour of overtime. Wow. And we're vigilant with that because a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. So we start there, but we encourage people, if you want to come in and do a shift, to jump on an extra different section. My young bloke was complaining that he's only ever done cold larder here. So I said, why don't you come in on your day off and do pants? Yeah. So he did one, and then they realised he was great on it. So the very next week, the chef rostered him on pants. Great. Like, for what? For a couple of hours and your day off. And he loved it. He was like, that was so good. Yeah. If you come from a place of, when you're just starting off in this industry, the only thing you have to offer is energy, effort and time to give you the knowledge that you need to succeed. That's a small price to pay, I think. Because it's, you go and work a 40-hour week at Vudamont or go and work a 40-hour week in an RSL, it's still a 40-hour week. It's still hard, it's still hot, it's still noisy. But what the Vudamont experience is going to give you in 10 years' time will be, you'll still be a chef making 60 grand a year over here in the RSL. And God knows what you're going to be doing once you get the knowledge that the guys at Vudamont are able to give you. And then the people you meet coming into the restaurants, you know, God knows how many, like the important people that you've met shaking hands over a pass, that's what's given me restaurants before. You know, so I think if you look at it like that, it's a good way to sort of encompass the industry.
It's a big family. I mean, I know my head chef when I was an apprentice was best man at my wedding. Still best mate, you know, godparents to his daughter. Like, you know, they become family.
As much as the hospitality industry is the biggest employer in Australia, the global hospitality network is small. Like, I don't know how many people who've worked for me who've said, I want to go to London, and I've sent 3 text messages. The next minute, Bruno Lube texts me back and go, Michelle Roux's got a position like that. You can't do that. You know, and I don't know Michelle Roux, holy shit. You know, but that network is cool, and you've got to lean into it because the hospitality industry globally feels like a family to me.
It is. There's always a bed in every city almost, if you know what I mean.
It's true.
Mate, we know it's a very risky business opening a restaurant at any time, especially in sort of the modern era, given what's going on around the world at the moment. What's the biggest risk you've taken in your career as a chef and restaurateur, and did it pay off?
Oh, mate, I could tell you some stories to make your hair stand on end. Like, we opened Rice Boy, we were 5 days into our first 7 days of trade, and we didn't have enough money in our bank to pay wages, because my story is that I got 86'd out of my last job by my business partners, blindsided, so I had no money. I had my life savings and a pat on the back check, which was for threepence, and I went to the wharf and I had nothing but energy, effort and time to give, and we had a concept, you know, that the developers at the wharf, which was Evans Long at the time, they trusted me. We got Rice Boy open for the smell of an oily rag. People go, you know, they take the piss out of the furniture being, you know, grungy. We didn't have any money. Like, we wanted a cage around the front entrance of Rice Boy, and we ran out of money, so I stole the hoarding that my shop fitters were using for the front, and I cut it with a grinder, and they said, well, we can't use it anymore. I said, well, how much will you charge me for it? I brought it for $20 instead of $2,000. So, but it's still got bits of concrete on it. Awesome. And that adds to that lived-in feel that kind of makes Rice Boy the juggernaut that it is. But I always say, you've got to trust the commerce, because it's the only thing that matters. What the delicious food you reckon you're going to do and the delicious wine you're going to serve, it doesn't make a shit of difference. The commerce around it does. What's your lease look like? What's your outgoings look like? Because outgoings, we're going to see, I reckon, in the next 10 years, outgoings overlap or overtake rent as one of the most expensive. Rubbish is like hugely, unbelievably expensive to get out of your business now. So trust the maths. Have a look at what you want to serve. Look at what your rent is on the venue that you're thinking about leasing, and just run the numbers on it and go, do I stand in the venue and say, do I think I can do 20 covers on a Monday night? Now, if the answer is no, don't do it. But don't base it on what Christmas looks like. Go, on a rainy Monday night in the middle of winter, can I do 20 covers on a Monday lunch? Can I do 30 Tuesday? Can I do 50 on Wednesday? And can I do 100 on Friday? And if you are hesitant in any way, shape or form on that, do not do it. And then if you can't afford a good lawyer to look at the lease, you can't afford to open the restaurant. Because there's just, I mean, I feel as though I know my way around a lease pretty well now, but I still give it to my lawyer because that's not my, I can cook a great steak and a good souffle, but I need to be able to give that to my lawyer and then hold him accountable for the outcome. That's what we do. And I think if more people did that, that failure rate of restaurants would come down a bit, because I think people just willy-nilly go kissing cheeks, shaking hands, how hard is it, hire a chef, you know, next minute the chef's hired, he can't count. He produces food that he's read in a cookbook that nobody wants to eat. And then suddenly you got food costs at 60%. The chef doesn't want to work nights, so he's going home. Labour costs are 60%. It's not even the cost of opening the restaurant. You'll tell up $100,000 a month once it's opened. So it's an industry that can really get away from you really quickly. So you've got to make sure that you do it with your eyes open.
Exactly right. Last question for you. I'm dying to know, you're at home, you and the wife, just dinner for the two of you. What are you eating and what bottle are you opening?
Oh, geez, great question. My wife and I, we would be a beautiful piece of grilled fish, nothing but a squeeze of lemon, some olive oil, and an amazing bottle of champagne or Chardonnay. I'm a big fan of Australian Chardonnay. I know that my good mate Pete Marchant loves a bottle of Burgundy, but I find Australian Chardonnays some of the best in the world, and it represents great value for money. I'd rather drink 2 bottles of great Australian Chardonnay than 1 great bottle of Burgundy. So probably that. If I've got some friends coming over, my go-to is either a beautiful piece of steak or a rotisserie chicken.
Nice.
And I like the rotisserie chicken because people naturally expect something really fancy when they come over. But when I brine a chicken for 24 hours and brush it in brown butter, soy and fish sauce, and have it roasting over my barbecue for a few, your mouth celebrating.
I mean,
that peasant food, and then it's a race to see who can rip the legs off it, because nobody wants the breast. That would be if it was a dinner party, but if it was just my wife and I, it'd be a beautiful piece of fish.
Nice. Sounds tremendous. So, Chef, obviously the Tony Kelly Group has quite a beautiful selection and variety to offer. What's next for you? Is there a type of cuisine or something that you're really dying to do next?
It's funny how every single time I open a restaurant, I open it, so we open Player just before Christmas. And as soon as I open a restaurant, everybody asks me what I'm going to do next. It's like, if I led with that in my home life, my wife would kill me, because I reckon she thinks that that's it now. But I don't know. Look, I think that there's a market. You asked me a question before about my favourite food and what to cook at home, and I said rotisserie. I reckon there's a great opportunity for a great rotisserie, especially chicken. I think the fast casual market's a bit volatile at the moment, but great sandwiches would be really good. I think there could be a market there for that. For us, I don't know. I've still got great ambition one day to do a formal Asian restaurant, probably Chinese. I was at the Flower Drum down in Melbourne on the weekend, and it's been an institution for 50 years, and our waiter had worked in the venue for 42 years. And it's as good as the first time I've ever dined there, and it did light a fire in me to go, maybe a great service-driven Cantonese, Chinese restaurant would be epic on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, it would.
I just need to be confident enough. One, we can get the staff that's needed front of house and back of house, and maybe we'll throw a hat in the ring with that. But, you know, with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I think it's a great opportunity for us just to bed down what we've got. We've still got a bit of work to do with Player because it's still so new. The people coming in the door is fantastic, and that's the hardest problem to fix, so we don't need to worry about that. Just refining it a bit on the back end, some of our systems, but I don't know. There might be one this year. I don't know. There's so much opportunity on the Sunshine Coast. The Maroochydore CBD with the Olympics coming up is, I know that factually I'll do another restaurant in the Maroochydore CBD. I can't really pinpoint exactly what it's going to be, but I can tell you that I will do a steakhouse. I don't know when or where, but that will be a lifelong ambition of mine to do a proper one. I remember the first time I went to Peter Lugo's in New York, and I was like, oh my God, this joint is an institution. They've got $1 million worth of beef in their meat lockers downstairs, aging it.
Wow.
365, like it's crazy. And I think that gauging off the sales here and how the Sunshine Coast has clearly told us that they love a great steak. we'd be mad not to listen to that and go, if a great opportunity comes up in a great space with some really good character, that could be it. I'll go your halves, mate.
Yeah, let's
Somebody
talk
told
about
me
it.
you can cook good steak. So.
Well, if you ever do open a steakhouse, mate, I know where you can get your hands on some good products. So
Yeah, well, mate, we're doing it now. So
Yeah.
maybe that, if I don't know whether I answered your question, but that's probably the
I
closest
think you
I can
have,
do.
and I think you've also given me a number of ideas of, well, that'd be a good idea. That'd be good. Well, I did there too. So, no, awesome, mate.
Nice.
Mate, I'm a big fan of all the venues. I've worked at one of your venues, albeit very briefly, a very long time ago. Loved every minute of it. You have a great team, great products, and you're a testament to the industry here on the Sunshine Coast.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
time.
mate. Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.